Hello, thanks for joining us. This is Nationwide on the network service of the NTA. I'm Ruth Aguele. Let's remind you that you can follow this news broadcast live on our website, nta.ng/live. On YouTube, you'll find us NTA News Online. On Twitter, at NTA News Now. You can also visit our Facebook page, NTA Network News. And on Instagram, NTA Network. Let's start by heading to Lagos right away to join Michael. He's going to give us an update on ASUU and other reports from that zone, of course. Michael?
Thank you, Ruth. The hope of university students to return academic pursuits this Monday after a 4-week warning strike by members of the Academic Staff Union of Universities has been dashed. This is as a result of extension of the industrial action, which took effect from 12 noon today. We'll bring you the story in the course of the bulletin. Let's quickly move forward to stakeholders in the environment and agricultural sector are working on a policy document that will enhance and ensure food sufficiency in Nigeria through urban agriculture. They disclosed this at a roundtable discussion in Lagos to address the challenges associated with climate change and how to create jobs for women and youths. Dana Jali reports.
Empowerment of women and youth. Urban economies are key focus of the Sustainable Development Goals 5 and 11.
About urban security, how you can create your own environment, even if you don't have the needed environment for what you want, most especially in agriculture.
There's a lot of exposure and a lot of talks that is going on for people to embrace urban farming because, believe me, you can grow a lot of things in a tiny space.
A project that will bring the community closer to the practicality of urban farming was initiated. Selected women and youths in Abuja, Lagos are to benefit from the program. They will undergo specific training on various forms of urban agriculture.
Is to empower young people towards decent living. And more importantly, you also have practical knowledge in terms of technical knowledge or whatever commodity you have chosen.
The essence of it is to ensure food security as well as mitigate climate change using urban agriculture.
What you can do is, get a bell pepper from the market, deseed it and grow your own. So it's either you grow to maturity or you even sell as seedling. So you've started making money before the food grows.
We are trying to also protect the earth by planting trees, by sinking the carbon and not polluting the soil. And while we do that, it becomes sustainable so that when we are no longer around, the generations behind us will be able to also have something to come.
Lagos State government will pursue the project and exploit the benefits of promoting urban farming to reduce the rate of unemployment and enhance healthy living. In Lagos, Diana Ajale, NTA News.
Now back to the reports where we earlier told you that the hope of university students to return for the continuation of their academic pursuits this Monday after a 4-week warning strike by members of the Academic Staff Union of Universities has been dashed. This is as a result of extension of the industrial action which took effect from 12 noon today. Hingino John Adams tells us more.
These students were on campus early with optimism that the waiting was over and lectures would kickstart, only for them to hear the news of rollover of the industrial action by ASUU for 8 more weeks. The news was a rude shock.
I'm not really happy about it because I guess we are lacking behind.
But I'm appealing to the government that they should please listen to what ASUU is saying and come to our aid.
Moses Silas has a business on campus which was booming before the strike. Like the students, the extension is definitely not a good development.
My business to bind books and make photocopy on it. Now you can see nothing work out again.
Obviously, ASUU is not ready to sheath its sword for the next 2 months as chairman, University of Lagos chapter, Dele Ashuru says there is no going back until contending issues are adequately addressed.
NEC, in its wisdom, decided to roll over the strike again for another 8 weeks to enable government address these issues. And our conclusion is that we will continue to watch and respond to invitation by government within this period so that our students can return back to school in earnest.
As deliberations between ASUU and the federal government continue, those who are mostly affected by the strike, especially the students and parents, are appealing to both sides to find a lasting solution to their differences to sustain and promote the nation's educational system. In Lagos, Hinginu John Adams, NTA News.
That is it from here. It's now back to Ruth for the continuation of Nationwide.
Thank you very much, Michael. More stranded Nigerians are coming back home, with the latest set of 31 arriving this morning from Romania. The evacuees this time were aboard a commercial flight, which the federal government paid for due to low number of the persons as initially planned in the evacuation exercise. All right, let's turn to other issues, talking about Commonwealth Day, which is today. Delivering a common future is the theme for the 2022 World Commonwealth Day, commemorated by 54 countries, including Nigeria. It is usually marked on every second Monday in the month of March annually to honor shared values and rich diversity as members of the Commonwealth. The Commonwealth of Nations was first officially formed in 1926 and was known as the British Commonwealth. The original members were the United Kingdom, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, South Africa, Irish Free State, and Newfoundland. It is now a voluntary association of 54 independent countries in Africa, Asia, the Caribbean, and Americas, the Pacific, and Europe, where no one government exercises power over the others. The countries in the Commonwealth, which have diverse social, political, and economic backgrounds, are regarded as equals. The countries also have common values and goals, such as the promotion of democracy, human rights, good governance, the rule of law, individual liberty, equality before the law, free trade, multilateralism, and world peace. These values and goals are promoted through projects and meetings such as the Commonwealth Games, which is held once every 4 years. All right, we expand the discourse as we have our guest joined us via Zoom, Professor Pat Utomi. He's going to be talking to us about the 2022 World Commonwealth Day. Professor, thank you very much for joining us on the news.
Pleasure.
All right, how would you say Nigeria's membership to the Commonwealth has impacted our relationship with other member countries? Did you hear my question, Prof? Okay.
You got to start by recognizing that the nature of the Commonwealth of Nations. Yes, I did hear you. Okay. And I was saying that you've got to recognize that the nature of the Commonwealth of Nations has been changing, evolving through the years. In the early years, following the wind of change and independence in the 1960s, it was seen as a close-knit family for issues of development, assistance, and support, and so on and so forth. But when Britain became part of the European nation, the EU, it lost a bit of what it used to have, quite frankly, in terms of it being one neat family. But as we know, Britain's journey into the EU has been terminated. And so the United Kingdom is in search of close friends, in a manner of speaking. So it gives a kind of new impetus and new value to the Commonwealth. But the main advantage of the Commonwealth is that these are people who share a certain heritage.
Okay.
And with this kind of shared heritage, it does facilitate economic exchange. It also has a very important place in persuading one another around certain kinds of values.
Okay.
For example,
Prof, let me hold your thoughts there. I like the fact you mentioned values. Now, these member countries of the Commonwealth share common values. Now, would you say they have been able to live up to the mandate? You talked about one big family, so to say.
Yeah, well, it's not always been a wonderful embrace, let's put it this way. If you recall, in some ways it was helpful to the Nigerian people, but it was also contentious when we had the Iron Fist regime in which General Abacha was presiding. The Commonwealth of Nations proved a very important lever in Nigeria. Of course, actions of the Commonwealth in some ways made Nigeria a global pariah. Ironically, a Nigerian was very active in the Secretariat of the Commonwealth back in those days as Secretary General. Chifemeka Anyaku was Secretary General of the Commonwealth of Nations, Deputy Secretary General, and then Secretary General. So it provided some awkwardness and all of that, but in many ways it helped to achieve the value of democracy in Nigeria as it put pressure on the military to retreat from the arena of politics.
Okay,
just like
Prof,
it did with South Africa.
Okay, sorry to hold your thoughts there. We're talking about Nigeria, and you know, as a member country, would you say being a member to the Commonwealth has contributed to political and economic status of the nation?
Yes, we have a lot of very high manpower, quality people who have profited from Commonwealth scholarships through the years. Now, the Commonwealth has a development agency, CDC. For many, many years, it has been a major development, finance, support source, even a privatized wing of it. Altis was pretty involved in a lot of financing around here. So I think there are many things to profit from membership of the Commonwealth that our experience does show. Could we get more out of the Commonwealth of Nations? Yes, certainly we could, but it will involve being very proactive in how we engage in the leadership of that body.
All right, Prof, let's leave it there. We hope that these member countries will live up to the shared values and goals. Thank you very much, Prof.
Pleasure.
All right, we'll go on a break. We're back shortly, so stay tuned. Thanks for staying tuned. Well, today is International Day for Mathematics, and the National Mathematical Center is utilizing the day to recognize the girl child in performing excellently in mathematics quiz competitions in all states of the country, courtesy of the Sustainable Development Goals. Abdul Malik Hassan reports.
March 14th is here, celebrated in many countries as Pi Day. This is because the date is written as 3 power 14, depicting the mathematical constant pi, that is approximately 3.14. So this day is all about mathematics.
It means, therefore, that mathematics is the
Logical
science
it
of life.
is. In Nigeria, the Pi Day 2021-2022 is marked in recognition of the girl child.
It's important to state that no nation grows and develops without appropriate knowledge and application of mathematics. The unfolding scenario of international events in times when nations in this modern age, the 21st century, invade a sovereign nation as a result of advancement in science and technology shows the importance of mathematics in international politics and armaments.
From the classrooms to the quiz desk, these students challenged their way to becoming first class among their peers. So 161 of them were recognized, 36 of them received gold medals, and 125 presented with Amazon certificates. And Onyebuchi Jewel from Federal Government College, Owerri, crowned as 2021 Mathematics Queen.
It's a very diverse subject. Most people are afraid of it, but the truth is that when you know the formulas and when you're used to it, you can get through any equation or problem they give to you. So I'm happy that I've come along this way and God not allow me to go back without anything.
Scientific it is, but mathematics is here believed to be a key factor to logical reasoning, technology, and development. So the girl child is encouraged to love and make mathematics a daily lifestyle. Abdulmalik Hassan, NTA News.
All right, let's have the discussion on the International Day of Mathematics. We have the Director General of the National Mathematical Center, Professor Promise Mebini. Thank you very much for joining us on the news. I like the focus of this year's International Day of Mathematics, focusing on the girl child, to improve the capacity on mathematics. I would say these girls are very lucky because if I were in their shoes those days, I would have loved mathematics. What is it about mathematics and why the focus on the girl child?
Well, mathematics is everywhere. Even in this studio, we see mathematics. The building that you are right in is mathematics. The answer you're using is mathematics. The scripts you're writing is mathematics. But the problem is understanding the application of mathematics. That's what the problem is. Okay. And so what we try to do as a center is to educate students from primary school to secondary school to university students, even lecturers, educate them in terms of the application of mathematics. There are key areas we are focusing on in terms of the center, mathematics itself, statistics, computer science, applied theoretical physics. These are the key areas we focus on in mathematics.
So why the girl child?
Why the girl child? We know that women are mothers of homes.
And we do a lot of calculations with money.
Not just money. What about the food you're cooking?
Okay.
If you don't put in the right ingredients, definitely you'll not be able to eat the food you have cooked.
True.
What about the head tie that is on your head?
It was calculated, actually.
Calculated, you see? So that is it. So we're trying to see how we can take off this phobia, particularly the women, the girls. These ones will be the mothers for tomorrow. We want them to be good in terms of mathematics. If you are good in mathematics, you are good all over. But you see that if you go to any university, more of the boys are in mathematics.
So how is it going to be make more simpler for the girl child to accept it?
It's a training, and that is what we are doing. Training upon training.
Are you going to schools or you're training the mathematics teachers?
We train the teachers, we train the students.
Okay.
We provide very known textbooks. We provide materials for the teaching of the mathematics, how to make it simple. And particularly today is called Mathematics Pi Day. Pi Day. Pi, yes.
Okay.
Why pi?
Yes.
In secondary school, you know that pi is what? 3.142 or thereabout. But this day was picked, being the 14th day of the third month of every year. It's called International Day of Mathematics. And it's called the Pi Day. How? The month, the third month is 3. And today is what? 14th.
Yes.
So, in writing our dates, we may start to decide to write from the month before the day and the year. So if I said, look, write 3/14/2022, you can see that the 3/14, that stroke is what is the dot.
Okay, teaching me mathematics right
3.14.
now.
So you now see that it is more closer to the one that is known. 3.142 thereabout. That is the pi. So this day is picked specifically to approximate that pi. You know, it is an irrational number, 22/7. That is the number. But if we write it in terms of the way we write our dates, then of course you now see that it is very close to that number.
You know, you have to break this down because my director thinks I'm actually lost. I'm not a mathematics kind of person. But for the understanding of people who want to embrace maths, talking about children now, the girl child also, what would you say teachers should do differently? Because there are simpler ways of understanding this mathematics.
Yes, one thing we must do is to see that every statement that has to do with mathematics has to go with applications. That's the way to understand it. The answer you are using is mathematics. You know in secondary school that the circumference of a circle is what? 2r pi. Am I right?
You're telling me.
I'm telling you. But the problem is that we don't know how to explain it.
Okay.
So that's what the center is doing. We educate, we teach, we provide instructional materials, we provide DVDs, we provide other materials, games. We even produce games for that purpose. So, in fact, we just came back from Benue State from training on 150 teachers in secondary schools. And we have given them the incentives, what they need to do to simplify the teaching of mathematics. You know, the problem is that people are so afraid of mathematics.
Yes, I think it's the teaching.
But
with all due respect to our teachers, it can be simplified. That's what you're saying.
It is, it can.
Okay.
It can. It can. It depends on how you are looking at it.
All right.
It can, yes.
Thank you very much, Prof. He's the Director General, National Mathematical Center. Now, I wish I could turn back the hands of time, go back to primary, secondary school and love maths again, because you're making it look so simple. But thank you very much. We hope the future generation will embrace mathematics. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. We've been talking about the World International Day for Mathematics, but we're heading to Makurdi now to join Susan. Let's find out what they have to serve us right now.
For joining us in Makurdi. Benue State Governor Samuel Otom has assured people of the state that civil flight operations will commence in Makurdi soon. The governor gave the assurance when he inspected the ongoing reconstruction work on the Makurdi Airport Lounge. Charles Abba reports.
Late last year, Governor Samuel Otom, on behalf of the Benue State government, entered into signing an agreement with some aviation partners and the Nigerian Air Force to kickstart civil flight to and from Makurdi. The flight operation that was agreed by the partners to start in December last year did not materialize due to some conditions that needed to be met, one of which is the establishment of an airport lounge and presence of fire service equipment. Governor Otom explained that the ongoing reconstruction of the airport lounge cost the state government 20 million naira and that the fire service equipment will be provided subsequently.
We, Benue State government, decided to rehabilitate this structure. It was not completed, but we felt that, well, this is meant for Benue State. So where the federal government is handicapped, we can come in, we have nothing to lose. Actually, we complement each other.
The governor expressed satisfaction with the level and quality of job done on the lounge and was optimistic that the civil flight services would come to fruition after the fulfillment of the necessary conditions.
So we are working on it, and we think that in the next few weeks we should be able to overcome this so that commercial civil transport services will begin to be operated here.
In Makurdi, Charles Abba, NTA News.
People of the Benue South Senatorial District under the aegis of Benue Rebirth Movement are calling for the rotation of governorship seat to Zone C in the spirit of fairness and equality. The The socio-political group made their agitations known during the mega rally across major roads in Makurdi metropolis. Elias Itiav has more.
Since the creation of Benue State in 1976, the Benue South Senatorial District, otherwise known as Zone C, has not enjoyed governorship, a development which has informed the power shift agitations. The rally by the Benue Rebirth Movement, a non-partisan group, is to add their voice for the clamor for power rotation among the 3 senatorial districts that make up the state. National coordinator of the movement, Air Vice Marshal Monday Morgan retired, and Chairman Central Planning Committee of the Mega Rally Samuel Onu, who presented their agitations to Governor Samuel Otom, said the zone should be considered for the next governorship seat in the spirit of brotherhood, fairness, equity and justice.
A new dawn has come, and come 2023, someone capable amongst you who are seated in our front right now will take the mantle of leadership in government house.
All we are saying, all we are basing on today is all about equity, justice and fairness.
Governor Samuel Otom, represented by his deputy, Benson Abonu, noted that the agitations by the Benue South Senatorial District is justifiable and urged them to continue to do their consultations on all platforms.
He said I should tell you that indeed he had met with you before on 2 separate occasions, and that each time he did tell you that your aspirations are just.
Other speakers, in their solidarity and goodwill messages, described the clamor for governorship rotation to Zone C as long overdue and called on other senatorial zones in the state to do the needful in addressing what they termed as injustice to the people of Zone C. In Makurdi, Elias Itiav, NTA News.
And that does it from Makurdi. The news continues with Nana in our Sokoto Network Center after this break.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Sokoto. National Drug Law Enforcement Agency Sokoto office says from January to March this year, it has seized 550 kg of Indian hemp and 1,370 cartons of codeine syrup, among other illicit drugs in the state. Zonal Commander of the agency, in charge of Sokoto, Kebbi, and Zamfara states, Mohammed Misbahu Idris, stated this at the sensitization campaign organized for students of the secondary schools in Sokoto. Sheikh Muhammad Dati reports.
The sensitization campaign is meant to sensitize the general public on the challenges of illicit drugs and the way forward. The event brought together youth leaders, civil society organizations, traditional leaders, politicians, students, and other stakeholders. The Zonal Commanding Officer of the National Drugs Law Enforcement Agency in charge of Sokoto, Kebbi, and Zamfara State, Mohammed Misbahu Idris, said the objective of the event is to sensitize the teeming youths as leaders of tomorrow the effect of drug abuse. He described drug abuse as dangerous to health.
By organizing this program, we tend to tell people that there is a problem, and we want them to join us in tackling the problem of drug abuse in Nigeria.
Stakeholders at the event stressed the need for government and relevant agencies to do more towards addressing the menace of drug abuse in the society.
Drug abuse in our society requires a pragmatic approach for its underlying causes, adverse effects, and the ways of curbing the menace of drug abuse in our society.
We are putting our hands, our everything. We are going to give them moral and financial support to do this job.
The sensitization campaign is expected to be conducted in all the 23 local government areas of the state. In Sokoto, Sheikh Muhammad Dati, NTA News.
Kebbi State government has reaffirmed commitments to sponsor students willing to further religious education in Saudi Arabia and other countries. Governor Abubakar Atiku Bagudu stated this at the closing ceremony of the 31st Quranic recitation competition at the Presidential Lodge Hall in Benue Kebbi. Usman Abdullahi Shehu reports.
The annual Quranic recitation competition was organized by the Kebbi State government under the Ministry of Basic Education. Addressing the gathering, Governor Abubakar Atiku Bagudu, who expressed satisfaction over the conduct of the competition, charged the participants to redouble effort as the state government is willing to support them with scholarship to pursue their education abroad. Governor Bagudu similarly said the need for religious knowledge cannot be overemphasized, as it will assist in addressing the incessant security crisis in the country to a greater length. The governor equally said those with the interest of furthering their education should channel their requests through the Ministry of Education in the state. The Commissioner of Education represented thanked the stakeholders for ensuring the success of the competition, charging students to remain committed as the state government is doing its possible best in improving the sector. In his remarks, the Executive Secretary, State Arabic and Islamic Board, Dr. Buhari Bello, disclosed that the overall winners of the competition will represent Kebbi State in the National Quranic Recitation Competition in Bauchi this year. Mustafa Muhammad from Jega Local Government and Hamida Bala from Birnin Kebbi Local Government were the overall winners in the male and female categories. Highlight of the event was presentation of prizes to the winners of all the categories. Usman Abdullahi Shehu, NTA News.
Well, that's it for us here in Sokoto. But before we go, don't forget that you can follow this news broadcast live on our website, nta.ng/live, and our YouTube channel, NTA News Online. You can also visit our Twitter handle, which is at NTA News Now, and our Facebook page, NTA Network News, and Instagram is NTA Network for updates. Thank you for joining us. We'll now go back to Ruth in Abuja.
Thank you, Nana. As part of efforts to build capacity and improve productivity and performance, the 4 Special Forces Command of the Nigerian Army, DOMA, has flagged off an operational training for its officers on tactical planning towards meeting its mandate. Replong Domtor reports.
This training is aimed at exposing officers on how to prepare and plan operations to enable them accomplish strategic operational tactics. Commander for Special Forces Command, Brigadier General Lewis Lebdung said lack of training is suicidal. He urged the participants to avail themselves the opportunity to build their capacity.
So, don't think what you are teaching here today. Ask questions when you don't understand.
All in all is to make officers and soldiers better planners and executioners of operation, and while taking into consideration, humanitarian issues that may arise in any operation.
As leaders of their various units and formations, there are times where they will engage with the civil population, and there are certain leadership requirements that will not work out at the military level, but is necessary for the civil level.
Meanwhile, another training on first aid held simultaneously to equip the officers on the importance of first aid, as the knowledge is critical to save lives in times of emergency. The 1-week training will equip the officers on leadership imperatives for strategic thinking, intelligent preparation for the battleground, tactical planning and war gaming, as well as psychological effects of drug abuse. In Lafia, Replong Domtur, NTA News.
The Federal Capital Territory nomadic Fulani Ardos have resolved to discourage their children from engaging in violence and anything criminal that will put the Fulani community in bad light. Mariam George Jitabo reports that critical security issues bothering the Fulani were brought to the fore.
The meeting was prompted by a visit to the Chief of Army Staff, who directed that the nomadic Fulani leaders make sure they account for the youths, stop cattle rustling, and desist from engaging in communal clashes. The meeting is to also correct the perception that all Fulani are bad.
Fulani, we don't like trouble. We are not a troublemaker. We are just we are doing our business, normal business, and we don't like any problem.
The Fulanis are not criminal. We are good people. Just a few of
of our children, they are doing bad things, then we are ready to enlighten them, show them that what they are doing is bad something.
Things happen or something worse happen in a given area, both nomadic and the bandits, kidnappers, they will be all generalized.
Issues pertaining illegal displacement of their members, insecurity and resettlement took center stage.
I can give you an instance of what's happened just recently in Kuje area councils, in between one's Almat's farm and one of our communities in there, of which he went and cleared their houses with their food and everything, bedding, clothes. About 200 people were rendered homeless.
Where they are doing their categories, where their children are supposed to get school or they get help, they lack facility of education. So we are begging government to assist them.
They also revealed that there are some designated grazing reserves in Abuja, but noted that they have not been given full right to utilize them. They called on the FCT administration to look into it. Mariam George, Jitubo, NTA News.
An early morning auto crash along Kaduna's Zaria Road, Rigachikung, has killed 6 passengers traveling from Wari to Jigawa State. Eyewitness account reveals that the vehicle swerved at a sharp bend along Rigachikung area of Kaduna as a result of overspeeding. Officials of the Federal Road Safety Corps have evacuated the dead bodies to morgue, and other passengers who sustained injuries have been taken for treatment. The Federal High Court sitting in Abuja has fixed 28th of March to give ruling on the bail application filed by the suspended Commissioner of Police, DCP, Deputy Commissioner of Police, DCP Abba Kyari, and 4 others.
Kyari, the suspended DCP, and 6 others are standing trial for alleged drug trafficking. Abba Kyari and 4 others pleaded not guilty, while the 2 alleged drug traffickers pleaded guilty. Abba Kyari and 4 others filed their bail applications through their counsel, Mahmoud Magaji, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, who argued that their alleged offense is bailable and that the Constitution gave the court the discretionary powers to deal with. However, counsel to NDLEA, Joseph Sunday, opposed the bail applications. After hearing both parties, Justice Emeka Nwite fixed the 28th of March 2022 to give ruling on the bail application and 15th of March 2022 to hear the application for the enforcement of the fundamental human rights. In another development, the same Federal High Court has ordered 2 aggrieved directors of Green Energy International and its chairman to explore out-of-court settlement in a case that seems to challenge the powers of the Company and Allied Matters Act. Justice Bolaji Olajuwon gave the order when the 2 directors demanded that the shares allotted to some investors should be offered to the original shareholders.
36 states' attorney generals are to take decisive measures to protect the laws from undue interference and abuse by those with exercising authority. This was at a maiden engagement of the body of attorney generals by the legal department of the Nigeria Governors Forum. Abubakar Akwanga reports.
The place of Attorney Generals and Commissioner of Justice remains strategic in governance and security at both national and subnational levels, and to deliver this mandate and serve justice according to the dictate of the law, occupants of such office must not be seen compromising in their professional calling and faith.
Nothing is going to be gained from dividing the nation, but everything is going to be gained from uniting the nation. So we must unite, whether we are Christians, whether we are Muslims, whether we come from the East or from the West, we must unite.
The chairman, Nigerian Governors Forum, says the engagement is to address legal encumbrances and put issues surrounding task, Paris Club reform and security into perspective.
Political, economic uncertainties in the country and the states have placed the office of the Attorney General on red alert in ensuring that the state is not ambushed through approve frivolous cases, court orders that may lead to heavy financial losses and the grounding of government businesses.
We also look forward to receiving robust contributions from the meeting regarding the way forward for contentions between state and federal government, collection of value-added tax, VAT, and stamp duties, leveraging the provisions of the Constitution.
The two-day meeting is also advocating non-interference of functions by the three tiers of government and clear-cut powers of attorney generals in the exercise of state and national responsibility. In Abuja, Abubakar Akwanga, NTA News.
Let's turn to electoral affairs. INEC has published the final list of candidates for the June 18th Ekiti governorship election. 16 out of the 18 political parties filed in candidates. Out of the 16 candidates, 14 are males, while 2 are females. Olabisi Kolawole is the candidate of the PDP, Abiodun Oyebanji Oni for the APC, while Olusegun Adebayo Oni for the SDP. Following the Electoral Act 2022 that gives political parties to start campaigns 150 days to an election, campaign activities have fully commenced in the governorship election. Ahead of the March 26, 2022 All Progressives Congress National Convention, members of the Protocol Committee, led by its chairman and Governor of Benue State, Abdullahi Umar Ganduje, visited the Eagle Square in the nation's capital, venue of the forthcoming exercise. Now, the visit is to enable the committee fine-tune arrangements for a hitch-free national convention.
Identification or verification and looking at the general layout of the area so that we can design our operations according to the delegates, how they are sitting. So this is just the beginning of it. We'll go into action because we have to synergize with other subcommittees of the convention so that we have full coordination. But we want to assure you that this convention, which is holding on 26th of this month, is a reality, and all things that are supposed to be in place will be in place. We are determined for that.
The All Progressives Congress Ward to Ward Ambassadors, a political support group, wants stakeholders to strengthen the APC for a smooth intra-party transition. National Coordinator Mike Ozurumba, at the end of the group's extraordinary National Executive Coordinate Committee meeting in Abuja, presented some key resolutions. Let's hear the details from Salihu Guanara.
The APC ward-to-ward ambassadors say their core mandate is to support efforts and ensure the continuity of APC in power post-2023. As the party commences the process of recruiting new National Working Committee, the group reminded the party leadership that the nation cannot afford to wait until one political party is ready. Hence, the need to ensure a smooth national convention.
That APC as a political party has grown larger than the coalition of political parties that formed it. Therefore, we want to reiterate the need for opening of the inner space for broader participation of party members across board.
The APC support group also pledged to remain active in adding value to strengthen and sustain the APC as a political institution with progressive ideology so as to continue promoting good governance. In Abuja, Saliu Guanara, NTA News.
The federal government is said to have saved more than 24 billion naira in 2021 as federal institutions comply with the Information Technology Project Clearance Directive. This success story has prompted the Federal Executive Council to approve the introduction of quality assurance certification in government digital services, a mandate that will checkmate alterations to specifications of approved IT projects. Chimdima in the BC reports.
Whenever any federal government institution wants to carry out information technology project, it is mandated to get an IT project clearance from the National Information Technology Development Agency, NITDA. The gains derivable from this practice are said to be numerous. Besides ensuring that such IT project is compatible with digital economy policy and e-governance interoperability guidelines, cost is equally saved. The good news is that many institutions have complied. Our 2021 IT Project Clearance Performance Report for Government Digital Services, presented to the Federal Executive Council by the Minister of Communications and Digital Economy last Wednesday, shows that 282 projects amounting to 213 billion naira were submitted for clearance, but only 258 of them, worth 154 billion naira, passed the test.
I've been discovering so many cases that are suspicious, and we reviewed them critically. Some institutions were even reported to Economic and Financial Crimes Commission. Any project submitted, it is going to be reviewed critically to ensure that the security of our country, particularly our cyberspace, is not going to be compromised.
With this success, the Federal Executive Council has now approved that on completion of any IT project of up to R1 billion naira, institutions must obtain quality assurance certification from NITDA.
We discovered that sometimes an approval or clearance could be granted. In the course of implementation, some of the specifications will be changed. And if there is no quality assurance certificate, we will not be able to know whether the project is implemented according to the clearance or not.
The minister further stated that the new directive is part of building an efficient system. In Abuja, Chimdema Ndubisi, NTA News.
Let's take sports update.
Ahead of the Nigeria-Ghana clash for the 2022 Qatar World Cup playoffs, the Nigeria Football Federation says no stone will be left unturned in making sure that Nigeria secures the needed qualification for the tournament. Speaking with Kayode Adeniyi at the NFF House, NFF General Secretary Mohammed Sanusi said preparations are in top gear for the matches scheduled for the 25th and 29th of March.
Nigeria Football Federation is working assiduously to make sure that we have a hitch-free arrangement. We have already dispatched our team to go and secure accommodation and arrange the necessary logistics for the away match. Here, on our own part, we are working to make sure that we leave no stone unturned.
To boxing, former three-time super middleweight champion Carl Froch says Anthony Joshua should stay away from picking Deontay Wilder when picking opponents for an interim fight. Joshua, who has a contractual bound rematch with Usyk, the man he dropped the WBA, IBO, IBF and WBO heavyweight titles to back in September, is expected to have an interim fight before facing Usyk in June. But Froch says a second defeat for Anthony will not be good for his reputation before the big fight. Although Usyk has gone to Ukraine to defend his country, Joshua is hopeful the fight will still take place as planned in June and is also making preparations.
We're done. Thank you very much for your time. We appeal to you to join NTA in the fight against rape and rapists. I'm Ruth Aguela. Bye.